I don't know about you, but once I start playing with the EOD bot in Battlefield 6, I just can't stop playing it. The reason I enjoy it so much because it brings some kind of assassin type of gameplay, stealth assassin type of gameplay into the game that otherwise you can't really do with any other way. I mean, just choosing the engineer, of course, because this is part of the engineer's toolkit. So again, tips how you can do well with it, and trust me, you can get lots of kills with the EOD bot if you do it well. So the first most important thing is that, well, being behind cover. So this is also very important, not just if you play a soldier in this game, but also if you play an EOD bot. Now, there are many places you can go that regular soldier can go. For example, I was underneath a chopper, which I couldn't go with my character, but with the EOD bot I could. I can go around the hill, for example, and not getting spotted. And the thing that I move relatively fast, consider if I use, for example, just a soldier and I try to crouch and move, it would be much slower. So it allows you like kind of be like in a crouch situation, but still move fast, which is one of the advantages of being an EOD bot. Still, don't expose yourself whenever possible. Things like, for example, if there is a window, you won't be seen compared to a character just walks into the door standing. Or if you go into a trench, for example, like you see here, you can move fast through it without actually being detected compared to if you're just standing there. Sometimes people just do quick looks to close angle and stuff, and just searching for human characters, and it can easily miss you if they don't pay attention. And many of the maps have lots of covers, so make use of those. Now, another important thing regarding cover is where your character, not the EOD bot, takes cover. Before that, I talked about the EOD bot. So you need to find cover, otherwise if you get killed, well, it's over. There are many places on the map which you can hide. In bushes, for example. I can hide even in bushes and enemies around me and they can't detect me. It's kind of crazy. Now, it depends. Sometimes it's better to be a bit far, although you prefer to be close so you can just continue spawning your EOD bot. But sometimes it's better just to find a good cover so you won't get detected and continue just spawning the EOD bot from there. So find a place where there's not like of traffic there, so not of players actually moving, and you can just stand there. You can be even behind the wall where against enemies' movement that they won't look behind it, and it can be also a good cover. So find these spots so you can stay alive longer and you can continue spawning your EOD bot without getting detected. Next thing is finding vulnerable targets. I can tell you right now, straight out of the bat, the most vulnerable targets are basically stationary targets. And by that I mean also like tanks, for example, or even human characters, especially if they're ADSing. Because when they're ADSing, they're not aware of you coming close to them. They can use, for example, a stationary machine gun or something like that. It can be maybe an engineer repairing a tank. Crouching targets that, it would take some time for them to actually rotate and realize what's happening. By the time they realize they're already dead. Snipers, for example, that aiming far away to try to get a snipe, they won't notice you. And although you're making sound, in the battle there's so many things going on that they won't pay attention to it. So find these targets and prioritize them. Take a closer look at the minimap. It's very important. This is where you're going to see the target and you're going to know where to position yourself to release the EOD bot and which target to prioritize first. Of course, high traffic areas can be problematic, although you can get lots of kills, but your EOD can easily get spotted and destroyed. Now, the most important thing, of course, is just knowing your toolkit, and you have different options that allows you to, first of all, repair vehicles, allow you to deal damage. You can do this by throwing your grenades or putting mines on the ground. This can actually stun enemies for a short duration, but it also deals damage, allows you to, if you hit it right, and if you're lucky to get those because they are scattered, you can even with 2 hits eliminate an enemy. Although your main killing weapon will be just using the repair arm to deal damage to enemies, and you're gonna eliminate enemies very fast like that. But sometimes you can combine both, just repair if you see the enemies is aware of you, or maybe before, just shoot it, and then if you're very close, continue with the repairing to eliminate enemies fast. You can also just roaming around, scouting the areas, and you can also click the middle mouse button to actually, that's how I use it, to mark enemies on the map for others to see. So this is something you can do as well. And aside from that, you can just harass enemies so they lose their attention and allow your teammates to continue pushing through. Another great advantage using the arm, you can actually do what you do with the torch. As an engineer, you can repair the enemies, use the repair option on the enemy tank to destroy the enemy tank. Now, it takes a bit of time, but still, this is very good damage. It can actually cause the tank to panic. One thing you can do is use it in combination of the mines. Position the mines in, for example, at the back or at the front where you think it's the best way to predict where the tank will be moving. And then I recommend going from the side, because if you go from the back, you can just get overrun. You can get damage, by the way, if the tanks go over you. By the way, also for friendly tanks. So position yourself from the side where the tank will just move. You can even put to both sides, but then you are risking it. And then just try to bait the tank to actually moving, but just start dealing damage, and eventually the tank will move. Another thing that will happen is there might, the tank driver will realize that. We just get out of the tank to eliminate you. Now just note, when the tank driver will go out, it probably won't expect you. So it will search for a human, and actually below they need to look down to see you. So you have an advantage, a time advantage, which you can use, of course, to use your repair tool to deal damage and eliminate that player first. Now when you deal damage to enemies, always realize their movement pattern after they get hit, because they can just jump and just go in certain direction. Usually it will be not towards where the action is. It can be maybe backwards, for example, where there is a hidden place where they think they got hit maybe by somebody shooting at them. So just make sure that you're already ready to move and aim your arm towards the direction. Now I can't emphasize this enough, so I'm going to say it more specifically. Remove mines and gadgets. You're going to see it very clearly compared to others, because it's going to be like marked in red on the ground. And you don't know how effective it is on the battlefield, where it's just a tank coming and just get destroyed because they were just couldn't spot it. And at the end of the battle, with smoke and everything and all the noise, it's very easy to just get distracted. There's so many situations where I help the team just push through, but just eliminating those threats. Especially the sensor on the ground that can detect enemies. Those things are crucial. And of course, aside from, I think they'll also be able to detect you as well. Being able to just remove them can just lead your team to really strong advantage capturing points. Now, there are two ways, of course, to approach this. You can fight with your team together, which is also great, but when there are many enemies, you can easily get spotted. But the EOD bot is actually excels in clearing places where maybe there's just one player or two players going and trying to get a specific zone by themselves, because they are probably hiding in a certain place, maybe just crouching or something like that. And this is the place where 1 versus 1, when you are surprising the enemies, you can get an advantage. All right, so a few examples you can see here. I'm dodging. You see that I'm really close to the obstacles here, so I won't get detected when I'm approaching the enemy. Of course, prioritize coming from behind. You see, I already knew that it's going to go backwards or to a hidden place, not go forward, and I got him. The time for eliminate enemies is super fast. Here you can see mines on the ground. They are marked. It's not red actually, it's kind of orange. Also, enemies are faster than you, so you need to kind of compensate for that with your movement. You can just go behind them, because otherwise they, unless they of course stop at a certain place, but they are faster than you. You can see just eliminating everything and the player. The thing is that the EOD bot is pretty durable. If you just target it solely 1 versus 1, and they spot you, they eliminate you fast. See, crouching, very easy to eliminate. Very easy to spot me. I can go underneath here, as you can see. But I think with the just a person crouching one, I don't think you can do that. Maybe, I'm not sure, but you can do it very easy. Coming from behind, eliminating. I prioritize areas where there are rocks, trees, just to go through, because it's very easy to go through without being detected. Anything that is open, of course, this is same stuff for soldiers, but here, for example, with the stone, it's very hard to see where I am because I'm small. Snipers are the easiest target, by the way. It's more satisfying for me than actually going with a knife. You see, they don't even time to react, but the time they see me, it's over. It's just so fast to kill with it. It's so strong that it's very easy to get several even kills of enemies just right next to each other. Also, I recommend, by the way, trying to flank, because it's really make it worthwhile. Also, buildings, you're very safe in buildings. People, when you get in, they probably won't notice you if you're near a door. You can see several enemies here. See how fast I eliminate them. Just crazy fast. Here I'm releasing my bombs. You're going to see it and getting 2 kills. This is very strong for your range shots, because it's kind of close area. So you're more likely to kind of get it done. You can see the time it takes to actually deal any damage. First of all, I'm going for the the engineer and then going for the tank. But I got spotted. This is why it's important to find good spots. You can see that I was about to do it, but I got hit. And in most situations, I flank because I know how useful it is to actually, flank with the bot. You can see a great thing with co-oping with the bot and other players just pushing through. There's a guy over there near the wall. I go first. Quickly eliminating him. He's just aiming to the player and we move through. This type of play is just perfect for the EOD bot. This is another example. I'm pushing with the other guy, shooting my grenades first before we go in, getting a kill, and we can push through. So especially if you're cooperating with a friend, for example, and bring your EOD bot, you can just go first a certain situation or just do something before they get in, and you can work together to just do better. You can see the problem with running enemies. They are faster than you. It's very hard to kind of catch up with them unless they make a mistake. See, they're moving faster. I can't keep up. Most of the time, you won't deal with something like that. Every stationary target is just so easy. By the way, you can see that the cheap ones actually have less health. So it's easier and faster to eliminate them. You're very hard to detect when there is smoke in some obstacles. Here you can see I'm just infiltrating, trying to surprise enemies. Going to be smoke here. Very, very hard to see me, so I'm just targeting enemies kind of, they couldn't see me. Otherwise, if I was a plane just getting there, I would have died. I mean, most likely if there are several enemies there, but they are not focusing on the ground, so it's very hard to see that I'm actually there. I also want to show you a funny moment where there's an enemy. I was so close to him, I didn't even notice him. I was targeting him, but he actually went back, and I was very, very close to that spot. You see? So look what happens. I'm going after him, and I knew he's just going back. I didn't want to go back, but he's going back, and I'm there. You can actually see me there. That's my character behind these blocks. So he didn't see me, so I was able to eliminate him, and I survived. Kind of funny. So what I'm trying to say in general is that in areas where there's lots of smoke and things going on and lots of action, you actually have an advantage when you're not actually being the focus of the action, and it's very hard to spot you. Yeah, there are many situations when I got even 3, 4, 5 kills one after the other in a crowded area, and it's very, very satisfying. So these are my tips for those EOD bot, or those who haven't tried it and wanted to give it a try, kind of encouraged after kind of seeing more footage here and what I shared. Give it a try. It's very, very satisfying way to play the game. You don't have to do it all the time. I mean, of course. Last thing I recommend is having a fast attacking weapon like SMG. I mean, I know if you're using already an engineer, you're probably going to prioritize that, but still have it. Because then if you're dealing with several enemies just entering, just want to reposition, you can get most likely to get them fast in close quarters combat. Because you're always fighting for a certain, peaceful place to just lie and use your EOD bot. And that's it. Good luck. Enjoy. This is just one of the best times that I had in the game, to be honest with you, in Battlefield 6. So definitely recommend checking it out. Thanks for watching.